Hi, I'm Nathan Spearing, owner of Transform NC, a remodeling general contractor based in Southern Pines, North Carolina, also offering nationwide construction consulting services. And I am really excited to talk to you today about our whole home renovation in Pinehurst, North Carolina, that I'm affectionately calling less 1980s. So I'm going to walk you through room by room, and also a little bit of a chronological overview of how we developed the project with the clients and were able to deliver the home of their dreams that they will be able to enjoy for many years to come. So excited to take you along. These clients came to us with a set of plans already drafted from a local design professional and needed someone to come up with the plan to actually build it. Like normal, we engage them for our pre-construction services where we go through with the clients using the plans that they already had and come up with the selections and the scope of work for the entire job. And these particular clients already had a home they were living in. This was the second home that they were intended to occupy as their primary home. So we had a little bit of time initially to do the design. They own the home already. We worked through the documents, but during the course of our design phase, they actually ended up putting their home under contract and getting another lease so that we could leave the home vacant for the whole remodel, which is always nice because a live-in remodel is absolutely miserable when you're doing something to this scale. So they got a lease. We continued to work through design. We expedited things to try to get them going. There can be a lot of things that rear their head, and we'll talk about those room by room as we get there and how we overcame those challenges. And always we try to do as complete of a plan as possible before we even do any demolition. And that's something that we've just had to learn over the years to make sure that before you start swinging a hammer, before you start tearing things apart, to have as many of the unknowns as you can figured out, because like you'll see in this project, a lot of unknowns reared their head as we continued to peel back the later layers on this 1983 home. So initial big change that when you walk into the foyer is we got rid of all the carpet, all the tile, and we're able to open up the main floor plan. The original floor plan had a fireplace right smack dab in the middle of the living room. The kitchen was closed off from the rest of the space, and they had actually a magnificent sized sunroom on the back side, but because of the walls between the living room, the kitchen, and the living room, we were in the sunroom, they were not able to enjoy that. One of the first things that we did was we went to work with our engineer, and we were able to come up with a plan to span, I think it was a total of 39 feet of open space, not counting the additional 6 inches on either side of bearing that we needed to achieve. We went into the crawl space, added the appropriate footings, which ended up being much bigger than standard size given the fact that the entire load of the roof was being spanned. But what that allowed us to do was to open up between the kitchen, the living space, and make it so that people preparing food, people hosting, didn't have to miss the party, didn't have to be in a different part of the house, as is typical of a 1980s home. When we approached the kitchen and laying it out, obviously wanted to achieve some things. The design consideration with the kitchens is often you want the triangle, which is basically a line drawn from the fridge to the sink to the cooktop or ovens. And the size of that triangle is indicative of essentially how much movement you're going to have to do throughout the kitchen when preparing food and doing things. The placement of the dishwasher is also critical there for taking out dishes, putting them away, and achieving that space. And we were able to work with the client and get the cooktop, the fridge, and the sink in a tight proximity. The other thing that's under consideration for this particular space is the placement of the island and how much room that will be between where the person that is preparing the meal is, and also the people in the kitchen and the flow of things there. So we were able to give a lot of space with the island. They also had a peninsula separate to the island that would enable a lot of people to eat. They have young children to come up and eat at the peninsula, making it pretty easy to entertain when it's just their family. They also had the ability to have a little nook where they can eat that was separate to that, and then also very close to a large dining table that we achieved by enveloping that sunroom living space all into one. A lot of flex space in this kitchen, 4 bar stools, the proximity of the sink and the cooktop, the close proximity to the dining room table, and then also the reading nook for a little bit more intimate dining with it's just the family. And that is just the benefit when you're able to do such structural modifications to the whole space and able to achieve just that wide open area. It gives you a lot of room and a lot of options for the island. And we actually ended up taking a good chunk of the existing kitchen and turning that, or the previous existing kitchen, and turning that into a dream pantry that allowed it to have a lot of storage space, an additional sink in there, and out of the way as well, so that you didn't really have to, it's not really on display when you're entertaining. It was around the nooks. We're just really, because we opened up this floor plan, we were able to achieve a lot with the space because we were able to open it up completely and able to really lay things out. We were able to determine the exact length of the island and the peninsula and place everything there in the space, and the results are actually pretty awesome. It's just really fun to see the before and the after in that kitchen. The next place where we put a lot of energy was the primary suite. Bathroom, closet, and the actual bedroom had a low ceiling, a little sitting room off of that. We were able to do a his and her closet. We also did a bunch of structural modifications because of the hip framing to vault the primary suite bedroom and give it a really open feel compared to the previous space. With the actual bathroom, it was already vaulted space, but one of the things that we really spent a lot of time on is what was previously the tub. We wanted to put a shower, and there was a lot of things to go in there. There was a little bit of asymmetry going on with the space. The initial design called for some walls that really would have closed the space off. We were able to do a layout with the clients even after demo and come up with a complete shower plan on the fly that enabled just this massive grand shower with multiple shower heads and laid out for his and her use, as well as his and her vanities and a large closet and private water closet in the space. The vaulted ceiling in the bedroom, the massive changes and the less 80s of the primary suite bath, the closets made this just really a dream primary suite renovation and made it where it could be used to fit their life, and also just really what we want to achieve is that spa-like feel at the end of the day when you're coming home from work, when you're having to refresh. You just use these primary suites so often. It's something that is used arguably more than the kitchen, affects the way your life functions and feels. So the ability to give this incredible space for relaxation, for refreshing, for hygiene is just something that we really are excited about. The next thing that we did for these clients is that there was a hall bathroom they wanted to turn into a Jack and Jill bathroom, but it's a total gut, and completely rearranged it for use for their sons on the ground floor. And there were some particular considerations for the shower and the tub and the way that it was laid out so that their sons could access it easier. So we were able to work with them and make a zero entry shower with a tub as well in there, and executing those details where at the tub and the shower intersection that we just essentially made that an entire wet room, so that no matter what happened, the client's young children getting out of the tub or whatnot, that they were able to have a waterproof floor there, and that it was easily accessible, cleanable, and functional for them as the children continue to grow, maybe using the bathtub less, but having that shower accessible as well, and will be very easy and functional for the use of the family. Probably the next big thing that we did in this particular home is add 2 additional bedrooms, a bathroom, and tons of storage to the unfinished attic. This required us to build 2 massive dormers off the front of the house. We had to do some particular tap dancing there with respect to making sure we didn't punch through the existing roof in a way that made it compromised the water tightness of the home until we were able to get the roofers out there. That enabled them to have essentially a separate zone of HVAC up there. We were able to insulate the ceiling with spray foam, which actually is an incredible way to increase efficiency of the home, but also enabled us to finish that upper space with additional HVAC unit. And this essentially was a flex space for the family to use when other people came and visited. And the separate zone and the door and the stairwell was able to be shut off and put to sleep, if you will, when not in use. So we turned this essentially 3-bedroom house into a 5-bedroom house with that fully finished attic, with additional bathroom, and that really just completely transformed this entire home to be used exactly how the family needed to use it, and super excited to be a part of it. And hopefully we can help you achieve similar results with your home. So be sure to inquire today, transformnc.com. Contact us for your various needs, whether it's a project in Moore County, Southern Pines, Pinehurst, North Carolina, or whether it is specific high-end consulting services for your project, wherever it is nationwide. Please inquire today. Look forward to hearing from you soon.